sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Time makes many changes. The passage of years affects our habits, our thoughts, and our physical appearance. The passage of centuries affects the very structure of our world, and eons can affect the universe itself. Time changes everything, goes the popular conception. But in this case, the popular conception is in error. For there is one thing that has remained the same since the world began. The one thing that will always remain the same. The love that a man and a woman find in each other. Eloise and Abelard, Tristan and Isolde, Romeo and Juliet. Their love stories are all well known. And now I'm going to add a new pair to that illustrious list. This is the story of still another Juliet, a modern Juliet, and a boy named Cliff. Like all love stories, it is romantic. Unlike most, however, it has overtones of fear. It is a fear that has been instilled throughout the ages and sharpened to a knife edge by superstition. It is a terrifying fear of the unknown.
Your evening gown is lovely, Juliet. Do you really like it, Alice?
It's absolutely charming.
Oh, Bob, if you only knew how excited I am. Do you realize I haven't been to a formal dance at 8? Why? Don't you like them? You must know the reason. You see, I haven't been asked.
Oh, the bachelors today must be blind as bats. You're one of the prettiest girls in town. It isn't right for a girl like you to hide away.
Oh, you're sweet, Bob. You're both very sweet. But if I told you how I felt, I know you'd laugh at me.
Why? We're not much older than you are, Juliet. Why, it was only 2 or 3 years ago that Bob and I were footloose and fancy-free, like you are now.
Yes, I know. And then you found each other. That changed things. I have to wait until the right man comes along. Oh, I must sound like a popular song.
You sound like a girl who's been starved for romance. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed and my bets on Cliff.
Alice, what's he like?
Cliff? Oh, he's rather nice, intelligent, not handsome in the conventional sense, but, deep.
Deep?
What I mean is, well, I think you'd like Cliff.
So do I. And we knew you wouldn't attend the dance without an escort, and that's why we insisted on arranging the blind date.
Oh, I'm glad you did, Alice. Lately, things were becoming difficult. I mean, I was beginning to be alone with myself. Too often.
Oh, that's Cliff. I'll get it.
We'd better leave right away, Bob. We're late as it is.
Hello, Bob.
Hello. Long time no see.
Good evening, Cliff.
Oh, good evening, Alice. It's nice to see you.
Cliff, this is Juliet. Juliet, meet Cliff.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Say, haven't we time for a drink before we go?
Oh, we're late, darling.
Oh, the dance can wait. Nothing like a cocktail to keep the home fire burning. How about a martini, Cliff?
Anything's all right.
Juliet,
It doesn't matter.
if you help me mix them, Alice, we'll be off that much sooner.
Yes, but... Oh, I'll get the ice.
There's something you want to say?
How do you know?
I don't know. I just feel it.
Is it necessary for me to say anything?
No.
This is crazy.
Yes.
It's simply incredible.
Very.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
We've never met before.
No.
And yet...
It's like we've known each other for years.
Yes. Why is that?
I don't know.
Is it because we've been wanting to know each other for years?
What difference does it make?
No difference at all. I'm glad I came, Juliet.
And I'm glad, too.
Oh, Bob, just look at them.
They haven't been off the dance floor since we came.
They've always been together.
Well, they certainly make a handsome couple.
Bob, we've got to do something about that.
What do you mean?
Now that they're together, we have to keep them that way.
Yes. Oh, got any ideas?
Well, I know. Let's invite them for the weekend.
Good idea.
Couldn't be better. Just give them a few days.
It's a nice romantic atmosphere.
What time is it, Cliff?
Almost midnight.
Oh, I'm sorry I asked.
Because it'll soon be over.
Yes.
Well, there's always tomorrow.
Is there?
There's got to be.
Oh, Cliff. Cliff, please make sure of that.
I will. What's your last name? Why are you laughing?
Because it's all so queer. You don't know anything about me. You don't even know my last name.
Do you really believe I don't know anything about you, Juliet?
No. You know almost everything about me. And I about you.
Darling.
What?
I said darling.
I know. I just wanted to hear you say it again.
Music stopped.
Oh, yes. Yes, I never heard it.
Hey there. Hey, Cliff.
Where have you two been hiding?
We're on our way home.
The dance is just about over.
Is it?
You sound disappointed.
I am, Alice. Very.
See, you know, we were talking, Alice and I, and we came up with a corking idea.
You remember our cottage in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Well, we're going to open it tomorrow and spend the first weekend of the season.
The trout will be running, and we can have a bang-up time.
Wait a minute. Is this an invitation?
Well, naturally, you
To
idiot.
both of you.
You'll be well chaperoned by an old married couple, like us. How about it?
Well, I must confess it sounds inviting.
I'd love to go.
Then it's settled. We'll leave on the early train, 9 a.m.
Oh,
How's
I'm
that?
sorry, Bob. I can't do that. I have a business appointment at 10. I won't be free till noon.
Oh, neither will I.
Well, why don't you two come up together later in the day? You know, it'll give Bob and me a chance to air the place out and brush the cobwebs from the rooms.
All right, then that's just what we'll do.
Juliet knows where it is, and she knows how to get there.
You can expect us by 6.
And no stand-ups now.
Nothing in this world or any other could make me change my mind. Is this where you live?
Yes,
All alone?
all alone.
It isn't much fun when you're alone. It's getting late.
I'd better go. I'll see you tomorrow. You won't forget the time and place. We don't want to disappoint Bob and Alice.
3:30 at the information booth in the station.
I'll be waiting for you.
I'll be there. Do you mind if I kiss you?
I'd mind if you didn't.
Oh, you're trembling.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
You're afraid. Of what?
Of everything.
Juliet, nothing will come between us.
Do you promise?
My solemn oath.
Then kiss me again. And say goodnight, my darling. What time is it, please?
3 minutes to 4, lady.
Are you sure you're not fast?
Lady, the station clock is right over my head. Take a look.
Yes. Yes, it's 3 minutes to 4. The train leaves on track number 10.
Yes, ma'am, for the 15th time.
I'm sorry to bother you so, but you see, I've been waiting for someone and he hasn't shown up.
Well, if you're going to catch that Boston Express, you'd better not wait any longer. You can just make it now if you run for it.
But I can't leave without him. He said he'd be here. He promised. What could have happened?
I'm only the information clerk, lady, and they don't supply us with a crystal ball. Oh, lady, what's he look like? Maybe you can make the train and I'll recognize him when he comes.
They're closing the gate.
Yeah. Well, it's too late now. There's another train in an hour. Maybe he'll show up by then.
No. No, if he hasn't come by this time, he must have some reason. It's funny, isn't it? How things change from day to day. Reminds me of Cinderella and her pumpkin. At midnight, the ball was over, and so was everything else.
Lady, take it easy.
You say there's another train at 5.
Track 9.
I'll take it.
Well, don't you want me to keep an eye out for the boyfriend?
No, thank you. It would only be a waste of time. I know he isn't coming anymore.
Juliet, darling, how are you?
Hello, Alice.
That Juliet?
Yes, Bob?
Good.
Here, let me take your bag.
Alice, I didn't want to come, really. You see, Cliff, well, something happened. I mean, to tell the truth, he stood me up. Not that I blame him. I suppose he had his reasons.
Juliet, darling, I should have told you right away. He's here.
Here?
Yes, he came an hour ago. He said he missed you at the station or something.
But I was standing there. I just... Oh, Alice, it doesn't matter. Where is he, Alice? Upstairs.
You'll find him in Bob's study, in there. You go in and say hello while I finish preparing dinner.
All right, Alice.
We're all just about starved.
Cliff, I'm so glad to see you.
Good evening, Juliet.
Oh, if you only knew what a fool I've been, Cliff. I've gone through every kind of torture since this afternoon.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Juliet.
it doesn't matter now, darling. You're here and I'm here.
Juliet,
Yes?
nothing. I forgot what I was going to say.
Alice said you missed the train, Cliff.
Yes,
What train did you take?
I got here an hour before you did.
But if you took the 4 o'clock, didn't you see me? I was standing right there at the information booth since 3, just to be sure we wouldn't miss each other.
No, I didn't see you, Juliet.
But I can't understand how I missed you. I kept my eyes on that train gate from the time they opened it until it closed. How on earth did it happen, Cliff?
Dinner's ready. Dinner's ready, everybody.
I think we'd better go in and join the others.
Love is a sweet and heady wine, and like the grape, too deep a draught will often affect the senses. The passage of time grows swift, with the hours going by like flying seconds and the minutes non-existent. Love transcends reason and shuns the logical up to a certain point. It is at this point that the questions one asks oneself must be answered, no matter how fearful a penalty one must pay.
The birch trees are budding and the bougainvillea's really hitting its stride.
You'd better get after that vegetable garden of yours tomorrow, Bob.
Oh, no, tomorrow's for fishing. How about it, Cliff? What?
Why, Cliff, you haven't touched a thing. Don't you like my cooking?
Oh, he's not hardened to it, darling, like I am.
I'll have no more husband and wife jokes out of you.
Don't you feel well, Cliff?
I'm quite all right, Julia.
Well, I know what you did. You had your dinner on the train, and I don't blame you.
Excuse me, please. There was something I forgot to do.
Do you think he's ill?
He looks a little pale.
Perhaps I ought to go after him. Go ahead, Juliet. Make sure he's all right. Excuse me.
Well, we seem to be alone.
Bob, there's something wrong.
Wrong?
With Cliff.
Oh, don't be silly. He's just in a mood, that's all.
Do you think they quarreled?
Cliff and Juliet quarrel? Oh, of course
Oh,
not.
Bob, he worries me.
In what way?
I can't describe it, but ever since he suddenly showed up in the kitchen this afternoon,
Did he scare you? I heard you shriek.
Oh, well, I didn't hear him come in, but it wasn't that. There was something in his eyes, something in his manner that frightened
Oh,
me.
come now, Alice. We've known Cliff for years.
Yes, that's just it. Ever since he's come, he's been, well, like a stranger. I almost feel I don't know Cliff at all anymore. Cliff, where are you?
Over here, Juliet, in the garden.
Are you all right?
Yes.
Aren't you going to invite me to sit down?
Please.
It's a beautiful evening.
It's spring, Juliet.
This is perfect. I'd like a cigarette if you have one.
I don't.
The inveterate chain smoker without a cigarette. The Reformation and the millennium have both arrived. If I babble away like a girl who's out of her mind, forgive me. I'm much too happy to care what I say.
Juliet, how long have we known each other?
Exactly 24 hours.
Not long enough to make a sensible decision.
Cliff, please don't tease me that way. I don't have much sense of humor when it comes to how I feel about you.
I'm not teasing, Juliet. I merely want to be intelligent about it.
Oh, let's not, Cliff. Let's be wildly, ridiculously insane about it. It's much more fun.
The moon is up.
It's a lovely moon.
Yes, it is.
I suppose we ought to become romantic about it. No, Juliet, I'm going inside. I don't want to talk anymore.
Cliff.
I'm sorry.
The joke's going a little too far.
I'm sorry.
Cliff, for heaven's sake, what is it? Why are you acting this way? I haven't changed since last night, and neither of you. What's happened?
You're wrong, Juliet.
Wrong?
Perhaps you haven't changed. But I have.
Towards me?
No. No, not towards you. That would never happen.
Cliff.
Good night. Juliet.
Cliff. Cliff. Bob. Bob, are you awake?
No, I'm fast asleep.
Oh, Bob, get up.
Oh. Alice, for the love of Pete, what's the matter? Oh, hey, it's 3 a.m. What are you sitting up in bed with the light on for?
I've been thinking.
Well, can't you do your thinking in the daytime?
Stop being silly and listen to me, please. Now, first of all, why did Juliet miss Cliff at the station?
Perfectly natural thing. Station's a big place, lots of people. No, I'm tired.
All right, we'll say that could happen to anyone. He missed her and took the train, fine. But how did he know where to get off?
What do you mean?
Juliet knew where we were, but he didn't. How did he find out where it was?
Well, Juliet may have told him when they made their plans last night.
But she didn't tell him how to get here from the station. We're 8 miles away.
Darling, Joe Cobb and his cab service know where we are.
You're right, they do. And they brought Juliet up. I saw their car leave.
Well...
I called them this evening, Bob.
You did?
And they told me that Juliet was the only person they'd taken here tonight.
The only... Why did you call him in the first place?
I wanted to see if Cliff had left his luggage at the station.
You mean he didn't bring us suitcase?
No.
Well, I don't get it.
Neither do I. That's why I say there's something wrong. And Bob, it frightens me terribly.
What are you doing in the garden at this hour?
I couldn't sleep. I saw you from the window.
You're chilled.
No, I'm all right, Cliff. There's something I want to tell you.
Not now, Juliet.
You've got to listen to me. It means so much.
Yes, what is it?
That scene we had this evening doesn't count, Cliff. We were both very foolish and very
Juliet.
young. Listen to me, Cliff. Our meeting yesterday was not an accident. The way I see it, all our lives we've been waiting, hoping for the meeting. It was something that had to happen. And it was the most wonderful thing that ever did happen to me.
And to me.
Then what's wrong with us? Why are we behaving this way? Surely we must mean more than that to one another.
Juliet, you don't understand.
I'm trying to, Cliff. You won't let me.
I don't think you could ever understand.
Doesn't my love for you count for anything?
You don't love me, Juliet. You can't.
You can say that until we die, and you'd be wrong. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, I'll always feel that way.
There's no changing that.
No, Cliff. You can leave me. Do whatever you like. I'll stay the same.
Juliet, come here. Look at me. Look deeply, Juliet, and tell me what you see in my eyes.
Cliff? Cliff, what are you trying to say to me?
I can't tell you anymore. But one day you'll know. Dawn will be here soon.
And then?
The sun will come up. Another day will begin. For you. You'll go on with your life, Juliet, and you'll be happy.
And what about you?
I'll be happy, Juliet, if you were. I'm here to leave you now.
Don't go, Cliff.
I want you to do something.
When you return to New York, I want you to see my sister.
Your sister?
Alice will tell you where she lives.
But why?
Juliet, perhaps my sister can explain. Goodbye, Juliet.
Goodbye.
This is the house, Juliet.
Do you want me to go in with you, dear?
No, Alice, I think I'd better see Cliff's sister myself. I'm sorry to have broken up your weekend that way. I didn't want you to drive me back to town.
Nonsense. We were as concerned about it as you were. Imagine Cliff running out on us that way. It's not like him.
I do hope he's not in any trouble. Didn't he explain at all?
No, he didn't. But just before he left, I think I almost understood.
We'll wait here for you, if you like.
Oh, please don't, Bob, and thanks again for everything. Good luck. Goodbye, Alice.
Yes?
My name is Juliet.
Oh, yes. I'm Cliff's sister.
Do you know who I am?
Of course. Cliff took you to that dance 2 nights ago.
That's right.
He told me he was going to spend the weekend with you and the Wilsons. But you mustn't blame yourself, Juliet.
Blame myself? For what?
You mean you don't know?
No, for heaven's sake, tell me, what is it? What is it?
On that afternoon, when Cliff was to meet you at the station, as he was driving there in a cab, there was an accident, and he was killed.
So goes the story of Juliet and Cliff. There is no sequel. You must accept it or discard it according to your lights. Time alone can find an answer if an answer does exist. And as the years go by, some may put it in the realm of fancy, along with Romeo and Juliet, and Tristan and his love. Perhaps that's best. Perhaps in the realm of fancy, Juliet and Cliff would want to be.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time. This program was written by Lawrence Klee, and Hart McGuire was the Clock. As Juliet and Cliff, Wendy Playfair and John Million. As Alice and Bob, Barbara Brunton and Leon Piers. With Joan Lord as Eloise. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time. We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock. A family quarrel is not unusual, and I suppose the best of us have them every once in a while. My family is no exception, and once a year we have a battle royal. It all started in 1918 when something called daylight saving time was adopted in New York. My city cousins pushed themselves ahead an hour while the rest of the family throughout the country remained on standard time. Well, progress is no crime, but ambition might be. It all depends. I'm thinking now of young George Finney and his pretty wife, Arlene. Ambition there was mated with greed, and the offspring was a monster.
I'm so glad you came. It was awful. simply awful. I couldn't stand it anymore.
Take it easy, lady. Sit down.
I should have called the police a long time ago. I don't know why I waited. Yes, I do. I loved him so. I just couldn't believe it, that's all, in spite of everything.
What's the story, Mrs. Finney?
Well, it started a couple of months ago in Santa Monica. I was a cashier in a barbecue when I first met George. He was tall and clean-cut with a handsome smile. He had a cute line and a fast delivery, and I liked him right away. He was Hollywood, and Hollywood was just where I wanted to be. So you're in pictures, Mr. Finney?
You bet.
You're not an actor.
Actor? Oh, not a chance. I work inside, the production end.
I always wanted to get into pictures, but I never had much luck.
Oh, with your shape, you don't need much luck.
You think I'm pretty?
Oh, a knockout. I don't know. I've seen the best in pictures. Turn your face to the left for a minute. Mm-hmm. Photogenic, just like I thought. Ever try to get into a studio?
Once. I got 2 days' work as an extra in the mob scene. I could have gotten more, I guess. But you have to have a wardrobe, and that costs money.
Oh, not when you know the angles. Hey, look, when do you knock off from work?
Oh, in half an hour?
Well, how about driving to the beach? We can have a swim, talk it over.
Well, I don't know. I've made it a rule never to date anybody I meet in here. It's not a good policy for a girl like me.
Well, I'm harmless, honey. Besides, you've seen me in here before.
But we've never spoken to each other up to now.
Well, you gotta begin somewhere. Come on. What do you say?
Well, I meet you, Mr. Finney.
Out front, half an hour. And, honey...
Yeah?
Call me George.
We went to the beach and had a swim. And he couldn't have been more of a gentleman. He told me in a month or so a new epic was going into production at his studio, and he'd see if he could work me in. Saw him 4 times that week, and 5 the next. Pretty soon it was every day. I knew I was falling, and so did he. I never thought it would happen so fast.
Buys like a top, don't she?
It's a very nice car, George.
Well, it's second-hand, but it fills the bill. And it's a nice jalopy for a honeymoon.
Are you getting married?
Sure.
To whom?
To you.
It's the first I heard about it.
Look, Arlene, I'm nuts about you.
But, George, we hardly know each other.
So what? Do we have to wait till we're 50 to get acquainted?
George, stop kidding me.
Oh, I'm not kidding, honey. You and I could make a team. I'll be a big shot in pictures one day, and so will you. Oh, come on. How about it, Harley?
Gee, I don't know, George.
Now, listen, I don't propose to every dame I meet. Marriage is a lifelong proposition. It takes a lot of thought.
I know.
Well, I've done my thinking. I made up my mind. Now, how about you?
It's all right with me, George, if it's all right with you.
Okay, honey.
Where are we going?
To Los Angeles to get a license.
Some honeymoons last a month or more, but mine only lasted a week. We drove to the Mexican border and drove back home. And it was the happiest 7 days I ever spent in all my life.
We'll be in L.A. in a half hour.
Oh, George, it's been just wonderful.
You give him notice in that beanery tomorrow.
Oh, do you really think I should?
Well, listen, I don't make too much, but we can get along. Besides, you're going into pictures.
Oh, but I need clothes. You said I did. And then you mentioned something about a publicity...
I'll dig up the dough for everything, baby. Now, you just leave it to me.
All right, George. Whatever you say.
Funny being married. Changes a guy's outlook.
Does it? How do you mean?
That gives a guy responsibilities.
Am I a responsibility?
No, I didn't mean it that way. After all, I'm asking you to quit your job and depend on me. What would happen to you? What if I disappeared?
Disappear?
Well, what I mean is... Well, suppose I died.
Oh, don't say that, George.
Oh, look, I'm not getting morbid, honey. Just being practical. When a guy has a family, he has to look out for it. That's why I'm taking the policy.
What policy?
Life insurance. $50,000. You'll be beneficiary.
Oh, but that's too much. What do we need all that insurance for?
I'm a guy who looks facts in the face. Things can happen to either of us. The premium's more than I can afford, but, well, I'll manage somehow.
Do you think you can take one out for me, George?
A policy?
Yeah. With you as beneficiary.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you said before that things could happen to either of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, honey, that's a practical idea.
Well, George, if I died, I'd want you to be well off, too.
Oh. You know what you are, baby? You're a gal to be proud of. To tell you the truth, I was going to suggest that we both take out insurance, but, well, I didn't know if you'd approve.
Why?
Well, what I mean is, well, it's the man in the family who usually gets himself covered.
Oh, of course, the premium's very high, and, well, it might be wiser to wait.
Oh, no, it's bad luck to wait. I don't believe in it. Now that we've talked about it, let's go ahead. It's the only thing to do.
Do you love me, George?
Like crazy. Especially now when you're going to be worth $50,000.
Oh, George.
So, well, I come to think of it. Say, the two of us will be worth more dead than we are alive.
A couple of days later, we both took medical examinations. A few days after that, the insurance policies came through. I'd almost forgotten about them by then, until the evening George came home for supper and told me. Is that you, George?
Yeah. Dinner ready?
Almost.
Say, I feel like a million. I'm as hungry as a horse.
Oh, something good happened today?
I'll say. Those policies came through.
What policies?
Life insurance.
Oh,
I put them in our safe deposit vault. Remember that.
let's stop talking about those policies. They make me so nervous.
Nervous? Why, Arlene?
Because it reminds me of dying. I don't want either of us to die. We're too happy. Life's too much fun.
Oh, come on, snap out of it. I'll help you set the table.
What's the matter with your jacket?
My jacket?
One of the pockets is bulging like...
Oh, that. Oh, look.
George! Where did you get that gun?
Now, don't get nervous, lady. It's only a prop.
A prop?
Yeah, we're shooting a Western. Prop man asked me to get this refinished. Throws too much of a glare into the camera when the lights hit it.
Is it real?
Well, it could be if it had bullets. The barrel's full of blanks.
Oh, well, put it away. Guns frighten me.
Oh, now you shouldn't be scared of guns. Haven't you ever handled one?
No, and I don't want to.
Matter of fact, you know, we ought to have one in the house.
Oh, for what?
Well, I'm in town all day, and you're out here all alone. You should have protection.
I don't want to fool around with any guns.
Oh, now, don't be a kid, honey. Here, I'll show you how easy it is to work. Grab the handle.
Oh, no, George.
Oh, don't be like that, Arlene. The gun won't hurt you. Look, put it in your hand. Like that. Now, just pull. Holy smoke. There was a bullet in that thing. You all right, honey?
I think so. It broke that vase.
Well, never mind the vase. I'm thinking about you. You were holding that gun near your body when it exploded. You sure you weren't hurt?
I guess I'd feel it if I was shot. I told you I didn't like guns, George. Oh, George, look at the sleeve of my dress.
Hey, there's a hole in it.
The bullet must have passed right through.
Yeah. Yeah, missed you by an inch. Good thing, too. Why, you might have been killed.
It was just an accident. At least it looked that way. George put the gun in my hand and his finger hit the trigger. That was all. I forgot about it for a while. But it came back to me later when I remembered everything else.
Gee, what a day. What a day. You only get a day like this in California.
Oh, it's fun taking a ride on Sunday. My, it's pretty out this way.
Yeah, kind of rustic.
You know, I'd like to lie down in the sun and relax and chew a piece of grass. You like grass?
Not as a steady diet.
Oh, you know what I mean. Do you like to... Oh, what's the matter?
I don't know. It's kind of acting up. Hey.
Something wrong with the motor?
I'll get out and see. You can get out too, honey. Stretch your legs.
Uh-huh. Oh, just smell that air. It's delicious.
Yeah. Now, wait till I get the engine top up.
Oh, it's so nice out here, George. And it's so quiet.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this is as good a place as any to eat our lunch.
Think I found out what's wrong.
You did?
Yeah, stay where you are, honey. I'm not sure. Wait till I see if the motor starts.
Oh, just look at that horizon, George. Isn't it the most beautiful color you ever saw in your life? George!
Hey, Arlene! Arlene, baby. Oh, baby, are you hurt?
I just managed to get off the road in time.
Holy smoke, the car was in gear and I didn't know it. You were standing right in front.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh. Oh, my heart was in my throat. How could I be so careless? You might have been killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the second time this week, George, that I might have been killed.
Most things in life come slowly over a period of time. Birth is one of these, and understanding. Time has a habit of moving leisurely when you're looking forward to something you most desire. But the one thing that can come with the suddenness of a flash of lightning is unexpected death. And Arlene Finney was well aware of that.
Twice. Twice in 1 week. Oh, they could have been accidents, sure. That was what worried me so. I wasn't certain. If George loved me, I knew he did. I had to believe in him. I just had to. A week went by and everything was swell. He was sweeter than he'd ever been before. There was nothing he wouldn't do to make me happy. And if I had any ugly thoughts, I canceled them out. Mistakes could happen, even 2 mistakes like that. And I knew it would never happen again. The weather was hot that Thursday when we went to the beach. He drove down in the car and changed into our bathing suits in the locker rooms. And we just lay on the sand and drinking in the sun and just feeling good. George.
Yeah?
When am I getting that job?
What job?
Well, you know, in pictures.
Soon, baby, soon. Gotta be patient. I have to see Mr. Zale in the office, and I'll pop the question.
Who's Mr. Zale?
Assistant producer.
Oh.
It won't be long now, honey. You wait and see.
Ollie! Hey, Ollie!
Someone's calling you.
Why, it's Mimi. I haven't seen her since I left the barbecue. She used to be a waitress.
Arlene! Oh, gee, it's nice to see you.
Hello, Mimi. How are you?
I'm fine, just fine.
Oh, have you met my husband?
I don't think so.
George, meet an old friend, Mimi Taylor.
Pleased to meet you.
Hello, Mimi.
Sit down and talk. We haven't seen each other in over a month.
Oh, I know. I'd have called you, only I was busy. I quit the job, you know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm working at Lawrence department store in L.A. It's a good job. I get to meet a lot of people. How's married life, Arlene?
Oh, ask my husband.
It's terrific.
Oh, he sounds like a booster. Oh, well, I guess it's all right for some people, and not for me.
Oh, you'll change your mind when you meet the right man.
Not when I read the papers.
What's the papers got to do with it?
Well, then you read about that guy who killed his wife.
What?
Well, he got sore or something. They wasn't married very long. He caught her looking at another man, and he crowned her with a flat iron.
Your bathing suit looks nice.
Messiest thing you ever heard of. The murder, I mean. The poor kid was only 21, and all she did was smile. This guy was so crazy jealous he couldn't even see straight.
Yeah, well, most men aren't like that.
Oh, don't you kid yourself. The kind I meet always are. You look different. Arlene Shue picked a winner. Say, where did he get them shoulders?
Looks good in a bathing suit, doesn't he?
I'll say.
Oh, so do you, Mimi.
Oh, stop your kidding.
You look good to me.
Oh, it's this suit, mister. It's got style.
Oh, I like the empty spaces.
Oh, what a man. You ought to put a leash on him, Arlene. He's liable to go on the prowl.
It's just George's way of being funny.
Well, I better get started. I got a date at 3 with a guy who don't like to be kept waiting.
Aren't you even going swimming?
Oh, I was in before, but not for long. That water's real fierce. There's an undertow like a suction pump out there.
It does look kind of rough.
We take my tip and you stay away. That current's mean. Well, glad to have made your acquaintance, George.
Same here, Mimi.
Say, why don't you two drop around to my place one evening for a drink? I can date me up a guy and we can have a little fun.
I'll call you, Mimi.
Okay, darling. Take it easy.
So long.
It's, getting warm, isn't it?
I don't feel it.
How about a dip, huh?
You heard what Mimi said about the undertow?
Well, we don't have to go out very far. We'll stick close together.
You go ahead if you want to. I'll stay here.
Say, what's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Well, you look like you just swallowed a lemon or something.
I'm sorry I came here, that's all.
Why?
You didn't have to look at her that way, did you?
I didn't have to... Oh, no.
I don't see anything to laugh about.
You're jealous, baby.
I am not.
Now, wait a minute. I know we're married, but that doesn't exactly make a chump out of me. I don't like to be told who to look at and who to talk to.
No?
No. And what's more, as long as you're in such a rotten mood, you can call off all by yourself. I'm going in for a swim.
What is it in those few minutes of the marriage ceremony that changes people? Well, I can assure you I have nothing to do with it.
I watched him walk down into the water and swim away. It was our first quarrel, and I felt terrible about it. When I thought it over, I realized I was in the wrong. And suddenly I wanted desperately to apologize and make up. I jumped up and ran across the beach. I was so anxious to swim to where George was, I guess I hardly noticed the undertow. George, wait for me.
Thought you wanted to stay on the beach.
I just have to talk to you, George. Oh, wait.
Well, what is it?
George, I'm sorry.
Are you?
I acted like a fool.
Yeah, I'll say you did.
Please forgive me. It makes me so unhappy when we quarrel.
Forget it, baby. Everybody makes mistakes.
It's so nice out here.
Not getting tired, are you?
Oh, no, not a bit.
Bed water. Like this. Use your hands. It's easier.
Oh, I'm doing fine.
We're pretty far out, Arlene.
Aren't we, though? Gee, I never swum this far before.
You scared?
Oh, not with you, honey.
Not a soul left on the beach. Everybody's gone home, I guess.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'd better swim back and get our clothes on. I'm hungry.
Oh, wait a minute. Come over here, honey. A little closer. You know, you swim pretty good for a woman.
Well, to tell you the truth, George, I am getting just a little tired.
Here, put your arms on my shoulders.
What for?
I'll help you swim back.
I'm not as tired as all that. I can make it without any trouble. Come on, George.
Oh, wait. We, haven't kissed and made up yet.
Oh, what, here? In the water?
Oh, it'll be kind of wet, but it's an idea.
All right.
Just, come a little closer. That's it. Now.
George!
That's easy.
What are you doing? Oh, George! No! He grabbed me, pushed me under. I kicked and struggled, but he was too strong. I don't know how long he held me there, but it seemed like a million years. I knew I was finished. I was getting weak. My lungs were bursting. I couldn't stand it any longer. Then when I was just about to breathe and take the water into my lungs, we were hit by a wave. It was a heavy roll, and he lost his grip. It carried me halfway to the beach. With my last ounce of strength, I managed to swim the rest and crawl onto the sand. I got onto my knees and looked around. George wasn't there. Suddenly I started to cry. It was all too much. My head was dizzy and I couldn't think. I got to my feet like a drunk and started to walk. I guess I didn't know half of what I was doing because I went right to the car without getting my clothes and found George sitting there waiting.
Get in.
No.
I said get in.
My arm, George. You're breaking my arm. Don't hurt me. I'll get in. Tried to kill me. Those other times you tried to kill me too.
Shut up.
And the money. Insurance money on my life. I should have known. It doesn't matter, George. I'd just as soon be dead as find out that you're really
Maybe
alive.
you'll get your wish.
I don't care, do you hear me? I don't care. Where are you taking me?
For a little sightseeing tour. And this time, I'm going to do it right.
For the next half hour, he didn't say a word. He just kept driving, avoiding traffic, making certain we didn't pass through any towns. His getting dark now, and the car was climbing. It was taking me up to Hollywood Hills, and I knew why.
Get out.
What are you going to do to me?
You said before you didn't care. Change your mind?
Don't kill me, George. Please don't kill me.
There's a cliff over there. With a drop of 1,000 feet. You won't know what hit you when you hit.
No. No, let me go. I don't want to die. Oh, let me go, George.
Come on.
George, let me go.
We're here, baby.
Oh, no, George.
Now look down. See how high we are? Just one push, baby. One push.
One push. Yes.
No.
Goodbye, George. Goodbye. I got back into the car and called you at the station house when I got home. That was 3 hours ago. I've been sitting here ever since.
We found the body and made a few investigations. It's a good story, Mrs. Finney, but not good enough. You made a couple of mistakes.
Mistakes?
Your husband didn't want to kill you, baby. You went after him.
What are you talking about?
You see, he had no motive, but you did.
No motive? Well, what about the insurance?
We found it in the vault where your husband left it. But there was only one policy.
Only one? I don't understand.
His policy. For $50,000 with you as beneficiary. That was there okay. I guess he didn't want to tell you about the other one, so you wouldn't worry. See what I mean?
No, I don't see. Well, stop grinning at me like an ape. What are you trying to tell me?
Everything you've told me is a lie. How your husband tried to shoot you with a gun, kill you with the automobile, and drown you. He had no motive, but you did. There was just one policy and a letter from the insurance company. Your husband couldn't have wanted to kill you with the insurance, though. You never got a policy. They never gave you one. You were turned down in your medical exam.
And that's the story of George and Arlene as recorded by the clock. It's the little mistakes that count. And Arlene Finney ought to know. In her case, however, I doubt if she'll ever get a second chance.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. It's written by Lawrence Klee, and Hart McGuire is the voice of the Clock. Arlene was Wynne Nelson. George was Leon Piers. Mimi was Pat Martin, and the detective Brian James. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Have you ever seen the inside of a watch? Of course you have. And unless you happen to be a watchmaker by trade, it must have presented a rather confusing picture. But to a trained and careful eye, that mechanism is far from haphazard. It has meaning, purpose, and direction. And it's a well-ordered apparatus indeed. Now, suppose we examine the inside of the criminal mind. I don't mean the kind whose crime has been motivated by passion or circumstance. I'm referring to the hardened type. The criminal by choice and profession. To the law-abiding citizen, such a mind is a complication of neuroses, frustrations, and barbaric and greedy impulses. But to the trained detective, there is meaning in it, and purpose, and murderous direction. However, unlike the watch, there are sometimes flaws in the mental makeup of the criminal, and these flaws are sufficient to provide the favorable balance that exists between law and order and fear. Now, we take it for granted that a man who knows watches can put them together so that they'll work perfectly. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a man who understood the mind of a criminal tried to put one together minus the flaws? So it would work perfectly?
Who's there?
Working late, Frank?
What are you doing here, Rex? How'd you get in?
I saw the light in your office from the street. Thought I'd run up to investigate. It's after 10.
Since when do detective lieutenants investigate office lofts? And did you decide that I'm too good a friend for you to leave it to the cop on the beat?
As a matter of fact, I knew you'd be here making out that payroll. I was wondering if you needed any help.
Help? What kind of help do I need from you?
Well, that's an awful lot of cash you're counting on that table. Don't you want a little official protection when you make your night deposit at the bank?
This gun is all the protection I'll need. And I'd sooner ask for a rattlesnake as an escort than ask for you.
What's the matter, Frank? Something troubling you?
Haven't you got what you wanted? Must you come up here and needle me, too?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Cigarette?
You filthy lion rat. You called yourself my friend, you dirty rock.
Take it easy. There's no need to get excited.
She left me this morning.
Your wife?
And she left me for you. You filled her full of lies. You poisoned her mind against me, and I'd have trusted you with my life.
Frank, you're nothing but a fool. You always have been, and you always will be.
You're right. I agree with you on that. I'm a fool.
You married a beautiful woman, and then you forgot about her.
Sometimes, Rex, I feel I could kill you with pleasure.
You know, you've always loved your money more than anything else in the world. Why, you can't even bear to hire a payroll manager. You've got to sit up here in your office and count it out yourself.
Well, I can assure you of one thing, Lieutenant Pound. I'll give her a divorce, but that's all she'll get. I'll name you correspondent. I'll drag this case right through the courts and smear your name as well as hers. I'll make sure the city officials fire you out of your job on your ear. And neither one of you will ever see a nickel of my money.
I'm afraid that isn't in my plans, Frank.
Tomorrow I'm seeing my lawyer. Tomorrow morning the two of you can hold hands and get a real idea of what my prestige in this town can do. Now get out of here and leave me alone.
Frank, do you have a license for that gun?
You're looking for something to strike back at me with? Playing the big guardian of the law? Yes, I've got a license.
Let's see it.
Why?
Because I'm asking you. I'm still on the force, Frank. We'll wait until you get me fired, and then you can ask the questions.
Yeah. Well, you satisfied?
Looks all right. Now, let's see the gun.
What else do you want to do, detective? Take my fingerprints?
The gun, Frank. Short guard, isn't it? Small caliber.
So what? It's got bullets, hasn't it? Now get out of my office. You've got no official business here with me, and I don't want you around.
Oh, I've got business here, Frank, but it's not official.
What do you mean?
I'm going to kill you.
What did you say?
I'm going to shoot you, Frank, with your own gun.
You're trying to scare me?
Frank, I've been working with criminals for years. Mostly homicides. I can safely say that I've seen every kind of murder that's ever been executed. Yeah, the slick ones and the dumb ones. The geniuses and the chumps. I know all the answers, Frank. Every one.
What kind of a joke is this?
You see, Frank, I've made a discovery. No matter how brilliant the killer, he can't think of everything. And the things he forgets are the things the investigator remembers.
Stop pointing that gun at me, Rex.
Now, there's only one way, Frank, to make certain your mistakes will never be held against you. Do you know what that is, Frank?
No.
You investigate your own crime yourself.
You're only kidding me. You're trying to see me crawl. You wouldn't kill me.
No?
You're a policeman, a detective. You wouldn't dare.
I'm a good shot, Frank. I know the vital spots. You won't suffer.
You mean you'd actually do it?
Watch. I'll be back to see you, Frank. In the morning.
figure. I'll get your stories later. Move back, let the lieutenant come through. Come on, back out of it. Hello, Lieutenant Pound.
Got all right?
No, not yet. He's on his way.
Who found the body?
The dame who came in to straighten up in the morning, she passed out after she called us. She's resting on a couch in the next office.
Safe was open?
Yeah. Making up a payroll. Found two $10 bills underneath the desk. The guy jumped and must have stuffed the dough in a bag and paid it in a hurry.
You find a weapon?
Yeah, here.
Any prints?
No.
What else?
Well, that's all, Lieutenant. One thing. We got a hunch the gun belonged to Frank Arnold.
Yeah?
It's the only one we found, as a matter of fact, so he must have had one on him if he was counting out a payroll, huh? Anything else?
No, that's all.
You better give out some kind of a statement to them reporters. They've been hounding me for an hour.
I'll take care of them. You get those pictures.
Yeah, all right.
I'll be in my office. Morning, Lieutenant.
Morning.
I'm Bill Kane, Daily Clarion. Guess I'm a little late. You got any dope?
Yeah, sure. A man's been murdered. The payroll's missing. Anything else you want to know?
But this isn't just an ordinary hoisting. Frank Arnold was an important guy in this town.
Look, Frank Arnold happened to be a friend of mine. You don't have to tell me how important he was.
Oh, no offense, Lieutenant.
We don't have any leads if that's what you're after.
What about the gun? It was Arnold's, wasn't it?
Look, reporter, just let the police department do the detecting, okay?
Lieutenant, I'm just trying to be amiable. You see, our paper's been running a campaign against crime. There's been too much of it here in town. Frank Arnold was a solid citizen. Now, people aren't going to feel too well protected after hear about this.
They'll get all the protection they need. If you had no crime, you wouldn't have any use for me. If you want a statement, you can say that officially we're going to break this case in the shortest
What
possible.
do you mean, Lieutenant, officially?
I have a sort of unofficial interest as well. I told you Frank Arnold was my friend. He's done me many a favor. But off the record, I can promise you this much. I'll find out who killed this man if it's the last thing I ever do.
Why did you ask me to come in the car with you, Rex?
Well, it was safer.
Safer?
Well, you know I'm handling your husband's case.
Yes. Oh, it's been horrible. I feel so sorry for him.
Well, why, Laura? He didn't mean anything to you.
No, I didn't love him, that's true, but I didn't want to see him die.
I'm doing my best to nab the killer, but it's a tough case to crack.
Yeah. Well, why did you say it was safer before?
Lorna, when did you tell Frank you were going to leave him?
Before he went to the office to make up his payroll, I told him I wouldn't be home when he returned.
Now, where did you go?
To a hotel. I registered under a different name as you told me to.
Yeah, that was so he wouldn't find out where you were living and make trouble. Now, look, Lorna, you're going back home.
I intended to.
As far as you're concerned, you never left there. I've questioned you, and I'll submit my report to headquarters.
Question me? I don't understand.
Well, I don't want you under any suspicion for murder.
Murder?
Now, take it easy. It's just routine.
Oh.
You won't be questioned further by any cop, providing no one discovers you left Frank after a quarrel, just before he was killed.
You mean that I think that I went up to his office and killed him?
Not if you follow my orders.
But it was a payroll murder, Rex. The money was missing. Why would I want to steal my own
Now,
husband's
the
money?
obvious isn't the only thing a detective looks for. Now, if you leave everything to me, you won't be embarrassed in any way at all, Lorna.
Oh, all right, whatever you see. Rex, for heaven's sake, don't think that I had anything to do with it.
Honey, I don't want you to give anyone else any cause to think so. Now, it'd be wiser if we don't see each other for a while and keep our relationship quiet. In that way, we can prevent people from believing that I'm shielding you. Now, is that clear?
Yes, Rex.
You're not worried, are you?
No. No, not as long as you're protecting me. I wasn't worried at all before, but after what you just told me about how suspicious people can be, I'm getting uneasy.
Now, there's nothing to be uneasy about. Just stay at home and don't try to get in touch with me. I'll call you if I get the chance. Now, I'd better let you off here.
All right.
You can get a streetcar in the corner. Don't take a cab.
Okay. Well, what's that?
It's a short wave, just a second.
Lieutenant Pound. Lieutenant Rex Pound. Report back to headquarters. Report back to headquarters. That is all.
You wanted downtown?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an emergency, or they wouldn't contact me this way.
Maybe they've discovered something about Frank's murder.
Well, maybe they have.
However, I doubt if they know any more about it now than I do. A watchmaker must possess the eye of an eagle and the patience of Job. His hand must be steady and his fingers nimble, and he must be prepared to rectify his mistakes. The murderer must possess the eye of a cobra and the conscience of a wolf. His hand must be firm and his fingers bloody, and he must be prepared to pay for his mistakes. What's the idea of calling me on the short wave, Brody?
Bill Kane came in here half an hour ago.
Bill Kane?
Yeah, the smart attic reporter.
What's he want?
He's got a strong lead on the Arnold murder.
He has? What is it?
Oh, no, he wouldn't tell me. He wanted to talk to you alone. Said it was important enough to call you in.
Where is he?
He's in your office.
See that I'm not disturbed.
All right.
Hello, Lieutenant. What are you doing in my chair?
Sorry, just an oversight.
Mind if I help myself to any of your smokes? What's on your mind, Kane?
Well, I thought you might be interested in a little theory of mine.
What kind of a theory?
The theory that Frank Arnold wasn't killed for just a payroll.
What gave you that idea?
Well, matter of fact, I got a little evidence.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, first of all, let me give you the theory part. A man makes out a payroll in his office and arms himself with a gun. He's facing the door so he can't be taken by surprise. And unless he's a first-class sucker, that door's locked. So, we'll say some guy's got a skeleton key, the kind that cops use. You probably got one yourself, Lieutenant.
Probably.
He uses the key to get in, but Arnold hears him. He's got his gun trained on the door, but nothing happens. He doesn't fire. He doesn't fight. And it's his own dog. You see what I mean?
So what?
Well, doesn't it ring any bells? Doesn't it mean that Arnold knew his killer and let himself be taken off guard?
You poor dumb bunny. We know it was an inside job.
You do?
Of course the guy who killed him had a key. There are 50 employees who own one. We're checking on each one now.
But the man who killed Arnold was not one of his employees, Lieutenant.
Who said so?
The guy who witnessed the murder.
Someone saw the murder committed?
That's a part of my story that isn't just theory.
Where is this witness?
At home.
Why didn't he report to the police?
He was scared. He didn't want to be the next on the killer's list. I suppose his conscience got the better of him after a while because he got in touch with me. I promised him he'd be protected.
How did he come to witness the killing?
He works in the loft across the street from Arnold's office. He's been there for years. He knows practically every office worker on the block. That's why he's sure it wasn't an employee who pulled the job.
He was in that loft when the murder was committed?
Yeah, working on some books. The light was on in Arnold's office when he was killed. He saw the killer ask for Arnold's gun and then turn on it.
Did he recognize the killer?
No, I never saw him before.
Did he describe him to you?
Yeah, big man, wore a slash hat, dark clothes.
That's not much of a description.
No, it could fit practically anyone, even you, Lieutenant.
Yeah. Now, this guy must be just a crackpot or looking for some fast publicity, but I'll see him anyway.
I wrote his address down and his phone number.
Let's have it. I'll call him first to make sure he's in.
Oh, he's in all right, Lieutenant. He's too scared to leave his house. His name is Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
And no doubt you can persuade him to be cooperative.
Hello?
Lieutenant Pound speaking, homicide.
Oh, yes, Lieutenant.
Mr. Kane, the Clarion reporter, told me you had some important information.
Well, I don't want to get into any trouble, Lieutenant. I've got my own life to consider. That man was a cold-blooded killer. He'll think nothing of putting a bullet through my head if he finds out.
Well, you'll be fully protected by the law. I'm coming up to see you in 15 minutes. There's just one question.
Yes, Lieutenant?
If you ever saw that killer again, would you recognize him?
Oh, absolutely, sir. I saw his face very closely. I'd never forget it as long as I live.
That's all I wanted to know. I'll be up to talk to you directly.
Who is it?
Lieutenant Pound.
Oh, come in, Lieutenant. The door's unlocked. I'm in the kitchen. I'll be with you in just a minute, sir.
Take your time.
Would you like just some coffee?
No, thanks. You wouldn't possibly make any mistake about identifying the man who killed Arnold, would you? I mean, can you be absolutely certain?
Oh, yes, sir. You see, he was facing the desk light in Mr. Arnold's office, and I was just across the street. The street's very narrow there. Yeah, what?
Oh. It's you. You killed Frank.
Police headquarters, Sergeant Brody speaking.
Brody, this is Lieutenant Pound.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to Lewis's house, but somebody got here before me. I found him on the floor with a bullet through his head.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he won't be able to make that identification after all. Here's the ballistics report, Lieutenant. Now we got it all. Pictures, prints, statements, post-mortem reports, the works. How does it add up? Like a soap bubble in a tornado. Yeah, we're so far away from breaking this case, it ain't even funny. Come in. Oh. Hello.
Hello, Lieutenant.
This is Mrs. Arnold, Brody. Yeah, good to know you, man.
How do you do?
That's all for now, Brody. You can call the squad off the case. We'll concentrate on that warehouse robbery for the next few days. Oh, okay, Rex. You shouldn't have come here, Lorna. I asked you not to.
I had to, Rex. I'm frightened.
Of what?
There's something I've never told you, but I think you ought to know it now, especially since I found out that reporter was following
What
you.
reporter?
His name's Kane, Bill Kane. He tried to see me twice, and he keeps calling at the house. Now he's following me around like a watchdog.
What was it you said I ought to know?
I saw Chester Lewis half an hour before he was murdered.
What?
I only did it because I thought I might be able to help you solve the case. I know you were worried about my being mixed up.
Did Lewis call you?
Yes. He said he could identify the man who killed my husband. He made me promise I wouldn't get in touch with anyone when I went over to see him.
Does anyone else know you went there?
No, I don't think so. But that reporter frightens me. He almost sounded threatening once. Rex, what shall I do?
Lorna, you're the only woman in the world I ever loved. You mean a great deal to me.
Rex.
Nothing's going to happen to you. Now, you leave everything to me. Will you do that?
Oh, I trust you, Rex. I'll go on trusting you.
Lieutenant Pound.
That pest is here again, Lieutenant Bill Kane. You want me to boot him out of here in his front face?
No. Send him in.
Send him. Okay.
Now, you sit here until I tell you to leave, and don't say a word. Hello, Kane.
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Lieutenant.
This is Mrs. Arnold. She came here to find out if there was anything new on her husband's case.
Yes, I know who Mrs. Arnold is. Is there anything new?
No, as a matter of fact, we're placing it in the unsolved files. I know you newspaper boys will tear the department to ribbons when we do it, but we've got no choice.
Well, that won't be necessary.
No?
Will it, Mrs. Arnold?
What are you talking about?
I'm accusing this woman of a double murder, that's what. I've got enough evidence on you to bring you to trial.
I had nothing to do with it. I swear I did.
Now, just a moment, Mrs. Arnold. Kane, you made a statement you're going to have to back up.
I intend to, Lieutenant. I saw Mrs. Arnold going to Lewis's house just before you found his body. I'd just seen him myself, and I was across the street.
Well, what about you, Kane? You admit you saw him, too. Doesn't that put you in the same spot?
No.
Why?
Because I don't have a motive.
And, Mrs. Arnold has?
She had a quarrel with her husband a few hours before he was shot. She separated from him, and he said he'd cut her off without a cent when he divorced her.
How do you know that?
Because Frank Arnold told it to a friend of his, a man named Billings.
Did Arnold tell him why his wife was leaving?
Yeah. There was another man mixed up in it. He didn't mention the name, but why couldn't that man have been Lewis?
You've got quite a case there, Kane.
Yes, I certainly have. It all adds up.
What about Lewis? Lewis said he saw a man do it.
Lewis is dead now, and he can't testify. Besides, maybe he wanted to shield his girlfriend and put us on a false trail. Mrs. Arnold figured he was going to turn her in, and she murdered him.
Lorna, wait for us outside.
Outside? Are you going to give her a chance to get away?
Do as I say, Lorna.
Listen, what's the big idea, Lieutenant? I got enough dope in that dame to put her in the chair.
I know you have. Brody,
What is it, Rex?
we found the killer.
Found a kid. Where is he?
In my office. Come in and take him away.
Your office? You're pinning this on me?
No.
But the only one in here beside me is you.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's funny. I figured all the angles. And I covered all my mistakes. But I never counted on the mistakes of someone else. Least of all, the
The woman I loved more than anything else. Yes, the criminal's intellect, like a well-built clock, has purpose and direction. But the late Lieutenant Rex Pound, Homicide Bureau, might have pointed out one essential difference. Who ever heard of a clock, he'd say, that fell in love?
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. This program was written by Lawrence Klee. Hart McGuire narrated as The Clock. As Rex Pound, you heard Ken Wayne. As Bill Kane, John Million, together with Georgie Sterling, Joe McCormick, and Owen Weingart. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Time is a changeling as frisky as a colt and very fond of parlor tricks. Its collaborator in practical skullduggery is the air age, which has reduced the shortest distance between 2 points to an even shorter distance. Yes, time is a practical joker, but so is nature. The old lady has a way of pulling rabbits out of a hat that sometimes makes the very stars in the heavens rock with laughter and occasionally turns the heart of mortal man to liquid ice.
You sent for me, Mr. Waynard?
Oh, yes, Brophy. Sit down. Cigar?
Oh, thanks, Mr. Waynard.
How long have you been a detective, Sergeant Brophy?
10 years, I guess.
10 years. And another 10 years from now, you'll be a lieutenant. And that's about as far as you'll go.
Well, you can't expect much more in a town this size. It's not a very big place, you know.
It's big enough for a man with ambition. Take me, for instance. I've been prosecuting attorney now for just 6 months. But within the next 6 months, I hope to be mayor.
Well, you've got a good record, Mr. Waynard. 98% of the cases you've tried end up in convictions.
100%, Brophy. So far, I haven't missed. And I don't intend to either. Which brings me to the Lawrence case.
Well, I guess that's one case you'll never get a chance to prosecute, Mr. Waynard.
Why not?
Because we haven't solved it.
But that's ridiculous. A young girl is stabbed to death after being brutally beaten and robbed, and you say it can't be solved. Do you realize how the people in this town feel about that crime?
I know.
They're frightened, worried, fearful for their loved ones. They're waiting for an arrest, Brophy, and a conviction.
Well, what can we do, Mr. Waynard? We haven't got a shred of evidence to work on.
Brophy, Anne Lawrence's murder was one of the most publicized crimes in the county in years. And the man who puts a rope around the neck of her killer will be a hero.
Well, it would be a feather in your cap, I know. I wish I could make the pinch.
A feather in my cap? Why, do you realize it would ensure me the election?
Well, I still say we've got nothing to work on.
Then find something to work on. Dig a little deeper. Bring in a suspect. I guarantee if you bring him in, I'll see him hanged. There'd be no question, Brophy, about my career once that happened.
I guess not.
And no question about yours either. How would you like to be commissioner of police?
Yeah, we don't have a commissioner now, Mr. Waynard. The chief's our top rank.
The chief is a buttonhead. That's why I'm talking to you. And as far as the office is concerned, I'll create a commissioner of police after I'm elected.
Well, that sounds good, but...
Oh, just a moment, will you? Oh, Waynard speaking. Oh, yes, just a second. One of your men, Brophy.
Thanks. Yeah? Uh-huh. When? And where did you pick him up? Blood on his clothes.
What's up?
I just picked up a tramp near the railway yard. They found blood on his coat.
We'll be over in 15 minutes.
Be right over, Dunnigan.
What a break. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, but this guy may not have had anything to do with the Lawrence case.
That's the kind of negative thinking that gets you nowhere, Brophy. It might be wiser if we both proceeded on the theory that he did.
Well, I tell you, I just got into town, Mr. Wayne.
Where are you from?
Carson City.
Your family there?
I don't have any family.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe I could get a job.
What about those bloodstains on your clothes?
Why do you keep hounding me this way? I'm not a criminal. Answer Mr. Waynard's question. Where did you get those blood stains? All right. I'll tell you. I stole a chicken in the next town. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten for days. I stole a chicken and killed it myself. I guess that lets me in for a petty larceny charge. But honest, I intended to send the farmer his money as soon as I got back on my feet.
A chicken? You hear that, Brophy? He killed a chicken.
Yeah, I heard. But it's the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
Can you prove you only just got into town?
Well, no.
How did you get here? Hitchhiking?
I hopped the freight. I rode the route.
Too bad you don't have any witnesses to prove you were somewhere else 2 days ago.
Why?
Because that's when Ann Lawrence was robbed and killed. And I'm holding you for the murder, Claney. My witness said he saw a man running away about 2 blocks from where the body was found.
But it wasn't me, Mr. Waynard.
No? He saw him from behind, about 5'11", brown suit, narrow shoulders.
Well, that could fit almost anybody.
Including you?
Nah.
Yes. And it fits you, Claney, like a glove. And so, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence speaks for itself. My distinguished opponent, the attorney for the defense, has tried to prove that the evidence was all purely circumstantial. Well, why not? Whoever said a guilty verdict could not be handed down on circumstantial evidence alone, providing it was a strong one. The safety of our wives and daughters may depend upon your verdict. If this man is set free, it will be a green light for every foul and ruthless beast who happens to wander in our jurisdiction. I ask of you, I beg of you, to consider this very carefully and return a verdict of guilty in the first degree. You wanted to see me, Claney?
They're going to hang me, Mr. Waynard.
You asked for it.
They're going to hang me because you're such a brilliant attorney.
Oh, you flatter me.
You know the evidence against me was weak, but you were clever enough to make it appear to be strong.
You had a trial by jury. You suggesting that you were framed?
But what did you have against me? Why did you hate me so much you had to do this to me?
If you've got nothing more than that to tell me, Claney, I'm afraid I have to leave. I'm making a train for Chicago in half an hour, and I don't have much time.
I guess you'll be back for my execution.
It won't make any difference to you.
I'd like you to be there, Mr. Waynard. I'd like to be looking into your eyes when I die, so...
I'll try to give you that satisfaction.
You're a cool one, aren't you? Mark Waynard, the man who never lost a case. Mark Waynard, the people's choice.
All right, if it'll make you feel any better, call me names. Go on, swear at me. They all do it sooner or later. I won't hold it against you.
No, I'm not going to call you any names, Mr. Waynard. But if I had just one wish before I died, it would be this. One day I want you to feel the way I've been feeling. One day I'd like you to know what it means to be an innocent man, hounded, beaten, and accused of being a murderer. When you've been through that, Mr. Waynard, you'll know what I've been through, and heaven help you.
Oh, Brophy.
Oh, hello, Mr. Waynard. Mind if I sit down?
No, not at all. Well, what are you doing aboard this train?
I'm going to Newfield. Order a new scaffold.
Oh.
I'll have it in plenty of time for hanging.
You're due for a promotion, Brophy.
Am I?
Yes, you'll be given a lieutenant's rating. Now, talk it over with Mayor Libby. And after the next election, Brophy, you may be in for something even bigger.
Yeah, I'd just as soon not have a promotion, Mr. Waynard.
Why not?
Well, I don't think I deserve one.
But you're getting it on the strength of the Lawrence case.
Yeah, that's just what I mean.
What are you driving at?
Nothing, Mr. Waynard. Forget it. Mind if I look at your paper?
Oh. Go ahead.
Yeah, funny.
What is?
Did you read this about this guy Beach? He's on the front page again.
Oh, they caught him?
No, not yet.
Let's see. He escaped from prison almost a week ago, didn't he?
Yeah, 2 days before they were going to give him the chair. He's just about the most dangerous animal alive right now. He's armed with a gun, and no cop is going to take him without a fight.
Where do they think he was headed for?
Chicago. Police have been alerted all along the line. They've got orders to shoot on sight. Yeah, the cops aren't the only ones who will kill him on sight. The gangsters are laying for him, too. Yeah, this guy doesn't have a friend in the world. Reminds me a little of Hank Claney.
I don't like the way you seem to sympathize with that killer, Brophy.
Sorry.
He was tried and convicted. Now, let's forget about it, huh?
Sure. Have you seen Beach's picture?
No, let's see.
Yeah.
He's fat, isn't he?
Just his face. The rest of him is built like a whip. He's got your build, Mr. Waynard.
Well, I keep myself in good condition. At least I was in good condition before that trial started. Somehow it took a lot out of me.
I didn't want to say so, but I noticed you've been looking poorly.
Huh?
Yeah, your eyes are kind of puffy, and so's your face.
Really? Oh, here, move over.
Okay.
I want to look in that mirror between the seats. Oh, that's funny. I hadn't noticed it before. The face looks swollen.
Maybe you ought to see a doctor.
Yeah, I think I will when I get to Chicago. Can you recommend anyone?
I don't know a soul in that town, Mr. Waynard.
Oh, neither do I.
You're going there to attend a legal convention, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, I could see Dr. Cartwright when I get back home. Yeah, but I won't wait. I'll consult a physician in Chicago.
Well, there's probably nothing to worry about.
No, I guess not, but... Oh, what are you staring at me like that for?
Take another look at this picture of Beach. Here in the paper.
Huh? Well, what about it? What are you talking about, Brophy?
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but with your face all swollen that way... you look just like him.
What is it, Dr. Payne? What's wrong with it? Oh, it's nothing to get excited about, Mr. Waynard. Look at my face. It's puffed up like a balloon. I don't look like myself at all. It's just an allergy. You're probably allergic to, some food, perhaps. An allergy? Is that all it is? Yes, it looks bad, but it's nothing serious. It should disappear in, about a week or 10 days. Where are you living while you're in Chicago, Mr. Waynard? Oh, I've got a room at the Hotel Standard, but I haven't checked in yet. I left my suitcase across the street in the station and came here directly. I'm rather worried, naturally. Well, I suggest you consult your own physician when you get home. He may be able to prevent a recurrence. Yes, well, thanks a lot, Dr. Payne. Will it cover the fee? Oh, yes. It's odd, but you seem to remind me of someone. Do I? Someone I've seen very recently. A friend, Dr. Payne? No. Wait a minute, I've just remembered. What did I do with that newspaper? There's a paper on the chair. Oh, yes, that's the one. There was a picture in here of someone this morning who... What, Dr. Payne? Why, it's amazing. This man Beach, the killer they're looking for. I don't mean any offense by this, Mr. Waynard. Well? But if I didn't know about your present condition, I'd swear this picture was yours.
Taxi, mister?
Yes, I was waiting for a cab, but
Hop in. I'm an independent.
You're...
Quick, hop in. We're holding up traffic.
I'm going to the Hotel Standard.
Know where it is?
No. Do you?
Sure.
Young lady, are you sure you operate a legitimate taxi cab? Where's your meter?
Cut the comedy.
I beg your pardon.
You sure got nerve. With every cop in the country waiting to pot you like a rabbit, you pick on a hot town like Chicago to hole up in.
What are you talking about?
Look, you don't have to put on an act for me. I'm not turning you over to any dick.
Oh, wait a minute. I think you're getting me mixed up with someone else.
All right, have it your own way. Maybe you don't appreciate what I'm doing. Joey Proctor saw you come out of the station and cross the street to that office building. He called me and I picked you up.
Just who do you think I am?
Either Santa Claus or Charlie Beach. And Santa's got a long white beard, honey.
Beach?
That was quite a break you made. I understand you killed 2 guards on your way out of jail.
Oh, look, I'm not Charlie Beach. I suggest you let me off at the next corner.
What?
You heard me. My name's Waynard, and I happen to be an attorney.
My name's Lady Godiva, only I lost my horse.
Don't be funny and stop this car.
You've been away too long, Charlie. Maybe you don't know the cops have set you up like a pigeon. Every cop in town knows you by sight. And this time they're going to shoot first and ask the questions later.
Let me out of this car, you fool.
Suit yourself. See that cop on the corner?
Yeah? What about him?
If you start walking in his direction, you might change your mind. Well, what are you waiting for, a big shot?
It's ridiculous. I'll just go up to him and explain, that's all.
Sure, go ahead.
Where's my suitcase?
Hey, you!
He's seen us. Close that door.
He's shooting at us.
Well, Charlie, do you want me to drop you off at the next convenient corner?
No. I'll stay in the car with you.
Even time moves fast when the bullets are flying, as Mark Waynard is discovering right this minute.
Cigarette, Charlie?
No. And I wish you'd stop calling me Charlie. I tell you, you've got the wrong man.
The cop would have been surprised to hear it.
Look, I have an identification in my wallet. There you are, see? My name's Waynard. There it is on the card.
Where'd you steal the wallet from?
Isn't it possible for me to identify myself? Can't I go into a police precinct and give myself up and then...
Everybody isn't a chump, Charlie. The cops only fall once for a gag like that. Remember the last time some cop challenged you and you started to give yourself up?
The last time?
You let him get within shooting distance, and you blew his head off. Now, that ain't cricket, Charlie. And the dicks are a little peeved. You couldn't get near a cop anymore and live to talk about it.
Well, if that's the spot I'm in, why are you taking such chances?
Because I like you, Charlie. You're a right guy. You see, I got a sort of a personal interest. We got mutual friends.
Have we? What am I going to do?
If you want to leave Chicago, Charlie, you might be able to make it by riding the rods.
You mean in a freight car?
It's your only chance. I know a spot near the outskirts of the city where the freights make a stop.
Then take me there.
We're on our way, baby. But first, we're going to pay a little visit to one of our mutual friends. After you, Charlie.
Where are we?
The freight stop is just below the hill. We'll walk over this way.
Through this cemetery?
That's where this friend of ours lives.
Look, I've changed my mind. There must be another way. Maybe I can reach that doctor who examined me.
I haven't changed my mind, Charlie.
What are you doing with that gun?
Get moving, mister.
Who are you, anyway?
Keep walking.
What's your name?
Dolly. The last name, Charlie, is Cal.
Cal?
Remember Harry Cal?
No.
You're just getting absent-minded. Well, this is far enough, Charlie. Turn around and look at the stone behind you. You can read, can't you? Harry Cal, it says. Born July 8, 1909. Died March the 12th, 1945. The only thing it doesn't say is how he died.
Are you his wife?
I was, for 3 months. And you decided to make me a widow, Charlie. And now you know why I've been saving you from the cops, baby. I wanted to have the pleasure of killing you myself.
What are you going to do?
Give you a taste of what Harry got. Only you're getting a break. You shot him in the back, Charlie. I'm giving you a chance to see what's coming.
I tell you, I'm not Charlie Beach. I didn't kill your husband. Can't you believe me?
Go on, Crawl. I like to watch you.
Look, do you know what circumstantial evidence is? It's something you can't take for granted. You need more proof. I only look like Beach to you, but I'm someone else. You can't kill me because you've mistaken me for someone else.
I made no mistake. So long, Charlie. I might give Harry my love. You see him.
It's Beach! Shoot the killers! Don't let Beach get away! He only hit the day!
Hey, you. Wake up.
What?
Come on, snap out of it. You've been sleeping like a stiff for the last 4 hours.
Why? It's the dark, Keith.
What do you expect in a freight car? Chandeliers? What kind of a rap are they after you for?
I haven't done anything.
Don't hand me that. When you climbed aboard this cattle car outside of Chicago, there must have been 20 cops on your tail.
They're after me. I know. It's been that way for days. Hiding in cellars, afraid to show my face. Running like an animal.
You must be plenty hot, sweetheart. A little too hot for me. I'm getting rid of you, see? You're leaving this freight car the next time it stops.
No, please. They'll kill me.
That's just too bad, sweetheart, but I ain't taking a rap for you.
No. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be.
What are you talking about?
I can't escape it, and I'm too tired to try again.
We're slowing down. Okay, on your feet, sweetheart.
I can't see it. It's dark.
Okay, mister. When I slide this door back, start running.
There he is!
No, don't shoot. I'm not.
There, we got him, Brophy. Mr. Waynard.
Hey, Mr. Waynard. What are you doing here?
Brophy.
Easy now, Mr. Waynard. You're okay.
Brophy. The Lawrence case. Twain, he may be innocent. We've got to give him another trial.
Well, you got my wire, didn't you?
Your wire?
Yeah. And Lawrence's boyfriend confessed to the murder while you were gone.
Good. Good. I'm glad. You don't know what I've been through. You don't. Brophy.
Yeah?
You recognize me.
Yeah, I recognized you. I've been working with you long enough, Mr. Waynard.
My face, is it back to normal?
Well, looks all right to me. But how did you get into this freight car, Mr. Waynard? We got a wire from Chicago to stop it here.
I know they thought I was someone else. They wanted to kill me on sight. Brophy. The man you shot. The man I was riding with in that car. Who was he?
The escaped convict, Charlie Beach.
And that's the story of Mark Waynard as recorded on the clock. Coincidence? Well, perhaps, but an uncle of mine can testify to the veracity of that story. He occupies a prominent position on the courthouse wall of a small Midwestern town, and he's often watched a brilliant young lawyer plead his cases. But Mark Waynard isn't prosecuting attorney anymore. He's now counsel for the defense.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time. This program was written by Lawrence Klee and starred Hart McGuire as the voice of the Clock. As Mark Waynard, you heard John Bushell. As Brophy, Ken Wayne. Others were Al Garcia, Len Teal, Margaret Christensen, and Owen Weingott. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs The Clock.
Time moves slowly, but its power is great. There is nothing material on this earth that can escape its effects. The mighty Colosseum in the city of Rome was a magnificent colossus 2,000 years ago. Today its glory is dimmed, and on some future tomorrow, even these impressive ruins will be less than dust. The very surface of this planet can be changed in the course of time, and life itself falls within the boundaries of a certain number of years. Yes, everything in the universe which is familiar to us is affected by the ticking of the clock, with one exception. Only death is timeless.
Hello? Hello? I'm still on the wire. Would you hurry with that call, please? It's an emergency. Thank you. Yes, I'd appreciate it.
Haven't they got through, Martin?
Not yet, darling. There was a storm about 100 miles west of here. Some of the lines are down. They're redirecting the call through St. Joseph.
Oh, something awful must have happened, or they wouldn't have wired. I'm so frightened,
Darling,
Martin.
take it easy. It may not be anything.
Oh, hello, yes. Yes, this is Mr. Gaines. Who's this?
Oh, I see. Is it serious? Yes, we'll get plane reservations immediately. With any luck, we'll be home in 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, that's... Doctor, anything that you can do... well, no expenses to be... Yeah. Of course. Thank you. Goodbye, Doctor.
What is it, Martin? Tell me.
It's Billy.
What's happened to him?
He was injured at school.
Badly?
I don't know yet.
Martin?
No, Flo, darling, look, we can't afford to get hysterical. Billy's a very strong boy. He'll be all right.
We've got to get home immediately.
We'll leave the car here and take a plane. We'll go down to the lobby now and get the first flight out.
Martin.
Yes.
Is our boy going to die? Tell me the truth.
Darling, we've just got to hope for the best, that's all.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gaines, but it's impossible.
Can't you understand? This is an emergency. We've got to get plane seats.
But there are no planes taking off.
Well, none at all.
They've all been grounded between here and St. Joseph. The weather's pretty bad a little farther south.
Oh, what about trains?
Yes. Well, the next train out leaves at 9 tomorrow morning.
But that means we wouldn't get home until late tomorrow afternoon.
I'm sorry.
What do we do, Martin?
We'll drive, darling. That's what we'll do. If we drive all night and the roads are good, we'll be home at dawn.
That might be the best idea, sir, particularly if you know the route. There's a shortcut through the mountains that may save you a great deal of time.
We came in from the coast. Do you have a map showing us that shortcut?
I'll get one for you, sir,
Thank
from
you.
the porter.
Martin, they told us to avoid the mountains. They said the roads were bad and we'd certainly get lost.
Darling, what else can we do?
I beg your pardon.
What?
I couldn't help overhearing your conversation. Do you intend driving north through the mountain road tonight?
Why, yes.
Well, I happen to be going in the same direction, and I'm in the same position as you are. I can't wait for a train, you see. I was wondering if you'd mind giving me a lift.
Well, I'm afraid...
I'm familiar with the roads, Mr. Gaines. I can get you to your destination without a moment's unnecessary delay.
Oh, you sure you know the way in this,
Crocker, Mrs. Crocker. Yes, I know every inch of the highway. I've been over it many times.
Oh, fine. Well, and by all means, come along. We'll be glad to have you.
Thank you. I'll wait for you in the front of the hotel.
Fine. Darling, that's a break for us.
Martin, how did she happen to know our name?
Yes, she did, didn't she? That's odd. Oh, well, she might have heard someone page us in the lobby.
Here's your map, sir. I've marked the best route in pencil, but you'll have to be very careful. Roads are tricky.
Thank you very much. I think we'll be all right. Mrs. Crocker is coming along with us. She seems to know the way.
Mrs. Crocker?
She appeared to be staying at this
The
hotel.
woman walked out just a minute ago with the overnight bag.
There must be some mistake, Mr. Gaines. There's no one registered here named Crocker.
Are you sure we won't be taking a chance, Martin?
I think she seems respectable enough. She may have come here from another hotel to get plane reservation.
Oh, well,
I guess it's all right.
Of course it is, darling. The bellboy put our bags in the car there.
Where is Mrs. Crocker?
I think she said she'd wait here in front of the door.
Martin, there's someone sitting in our car.
What? Oh, it's Mrs. Crocker. Come on, darling.
I didn't think she'd have waited for us.
I hope she knows the roads as well as she says she does. Well, hello there.
I decided to wait in your car. It was more comfortable.
That's all right. Hop in, Flo.
Yes, all right, darling. All right.
Good. How did you know which car was ours, Mrs. Crocker?
I just guessed.
Well, here we go.
May I suggest that you turn left at the corner and proceed up Main Street for 1.5 miles? The state highway begins right there.
Looks as though we'll have no need for that map with you in the car, Mrs. Crocker.
I told you I know the way. Is your boy very ill? Wait. How did you know about it? Oh, I believe you mentioned it at the desk clerk.
We did?
He seems to be hurt very badly, Mrs. Crocker. That's why we're so anxious to get home just as fast as we can.
Incidentally, we live in Thornton. It's about 50 miles north of St. Joseph. We'll drop you off at St. Joseph if you like.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Gaines. I happen to be going to Thornton myself.
Oh, really? You live there?
No, but I have business there.
Uh-huh.
And I dare say it's just as urgent as yours. This highway leads halfway through the mountains. Keep bearing left at all the intersections. I'll tell you when to branch off.
Fine. Well, you certainly know your way around, Mrs. Crocker. I've hardly seen you even glance at the road signs we've passed.
I've no need for road signs, Mr. Gaines.
How do you feel, darling?
Oh, a little better, darling, now that we're well on our way.
You know, we were very foolish to get so panicky. Everything's going to be fine. I can feel it.
You see, Mrs. Crocker, Martin and I were taking a short vacation when we heard the news concerning our son.
Yeah, first vacation I've had in 4 years, too.
Oh, too bad it's been spoiled.
I don't care about that. Just let that son of ours pull out of this and I'll be the happiest man alive.
Do you consider that to be a lucky distinction, Mr. Gaines?
What?
The expression you just used, the happiest man alive. I wonder exactly how much pleasure that encompasses.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow you.
Well, is life so wonderful? I'm afraid the human race doesn't have a proper appreciation for death. It seems
Hey, Mrs. Crocker, would it be all right with you if we talk about something else?
I'm sorry.
Looks like we're running into that storm they told us about, darling.
Oh, you'd better drive carefully if it starts to rain, Martin.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, darn it, I hate to slow down. Every minute counts.
You could drive as fast as you like, Mr. Gaines. You'll be safe enough.
Yes, but these turns are a little tricky. Won't do anyone any good to get us killed.
I doubt very much if that would happen while I'm around, Mr. Gaines. As long as I show you the way.
Sure we will be. You're not nervous, are you, Flo? Let me know if I'm going too fast.
No, I'm all right, darling.
Well, if it's okay with both of you, I'll keep this pace.
Don't worry about me, Mr. Gaines. I'm just as anxious to get to Thornton as you are.
You better put that window up, darling.
All right.
Getting hard to see, even with the wipers working.
Do be careful, Martin. There's a left turn about 1/4 mile from here. Watch for it.
You can even recognize the landscape in this rain.
Martin, when you make your next stop for gas, maybe we can call home again?
Yes, darling, we'll try.
I wouldn't advise it. You'll probably find no change in the boy's condition. Why do you say that, Mrs. Crocker? His injury is the type that reaches a crisis. And it's still too soon. But you don't know anything at all about his injury. No. Martin!
Yeah, I didn't see him. I didn't see him till I hit him.
What was it?
The dog. He's back there on the road.
Don't bother to go back to him.
Well, he may be suffering. I can't leave him there like that.
I'll go with you, darling.
The rain's letting up a little. It's still very dark, though.
Look, there he is, Martin.
What?
Back there in the middle of the highway.
That poor devil, the wheels passed over his body. I felt the bump.
really feel so sorry for her.
I don't see anything to smile about, Mrs. Crocker.
Don't you have any sympathy?
That poor thing, it looks as if he's dead. Yes, and perhaps we can bring him into town and drop him off at the police station. So...
Martin, look at Mrs. Crocker.
She's walking toward the path.
Martin, the dog.
God, he's getting up. How could he? I hit him full on.
He's walking away as if nothing had happened. Perhaps we'd better be on our way, Mr. Gaines.
Yes, I didn't hit him after all.
It just mightn't have been his time, Mr. Gaines.
Get back in the car, darling.
Yes, all right, dear.
Yeah.
That left turn I spoke about is right around the bend. What did you do to that dog, Mrs. Crocker?
Flo.
I saw her touch him. He was lying there, dying. But he got up when she touched him.
Flo, take it easy.
Who are you, Mrs. Crocker? Just a traveler as you are. Anxious to arrive at her destination. Turn left here, Mr. Gaines. This is the road.
Road's empty. We're making good time, Flo. Flo?
He's asleep, Mr. Gaines.
Oh. She had a tough night.
Your wife is rather a nervous woman, isn't she?
No, not usually. You'll have to forgive that outburst before Mrs. Crocker. She's not herself tonight.
Oh, I understand.
You see, this is the first time she's ever come face to face with death.
Oh.
I didn't tell her this, but they're afraid the boy has a fractured skull.
Yes, I did.
You know?
I could see by your manner that the case was rather serious.
The kid will come through, though. He'll lick the old reaper. I'm betting on him.
The old reaper? Is that your mental picture of death?
Isn't it everyone's?
Well, I didn't know the slander was universal.
Slander?
Oh, I've seen drawings, amusing in a way. A grinning skull and a scythe and its bony fingers. And death is always portrayed as a man. That joke in itself is always carried just a little too far.
You talk as if death actually existed as something you could see or touch.
Well, don't you believe that?
Of course not.
And what is death? Tell me how you imagine it.
Well, it's a state of being, something that just happens, that's all.
You seem very vague about it, Mr. Gaines.
Why shouldn't I be? Who knows anything about death?
Those who've met her do.
Did you say her?
Why not?
But it's not a woman.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. How did we get into this subject, anyway?
Well, it's an interesting topic. Please continue.
Well, I'd rather not.
Just as you say.
Mrs. Crocker.
Yes.
Do you mind if I asked you why you're going to Thornton? You don't live there.
Only temporary, on odd occasion.
Oh? I know everyone who's ever lived in that town. I've never even heard your name mentioned.
Oh, yes, you have, Mr. Gaines.
He has not, and neither have I.
But, darling, I thought you were at school.
We've never heard of Crocker, and we've lived there 20 years.
But what's in the name?
Martin, stop the car.
Flo.
Stop the car, Martin. She's getting out.
Yeah? This time of night?
I don't care what time of night it is. Get rid of her, Martin. She frightens me.
Darling, it isn't really fair to do that. We can drop Mrs. Crocker off at the next town, perhaps, but not here.
Why don't you do as I ask, Martin? Why don't you? I can't stand her riding with us.
But I'm your friend, Mrs. Gaines. I may bring you luck.
If you don't stop the car and get rid of her,
Flo,
I
don't
will...
touch that wheel!
Martin?
Yes, darling. You all right?
Yes, I think so.
Good. Mrs. Crocker?
Do you know what happened?
Yes, we turned over twice. Car's back on its wheels.
Try starting your motor.
That's impossible.
The ditch levels off with the road a few yards down. You can get back on the highway if you try.
I can't believe it. We should have been killed. We haven't even been scratched.
Didn't I tell you before, Mr. Gaines, that I might bring you luck?
You say this jalopy turned all the way over twice and landed back on its wheels?
Yes.
Oh, you must live right, mister. You should have ended up in a hearse.
Martin, I just called home. There's been no change.
How far are we from St. Joe?
Oh, about 200 miles.
What's the road like?
Straight highway, macadam. You leave the mountains about 10 miles up.
Martin, she's gone inside for a cup of coffee. We can leave her here. We can't get lost anymore.
Get in quickly.
Yes, all right.
Hey, wait a minute, mister.
Here's your money. Just get out of the way, will you?
Hey!
There she is. She's standing near the door. And she's smiling.
Hey!
The dawn should be coming up pretty soon.
Oh, how much farther, Martin?
7,500 miles. I wonder who she was.
I don't know, and I don't care. She's gone now, that's all that counts.
How did she frighten you so, darling?
The way she talked, the way she smiled. There was something about her that wasn't human.
I'm beginning to feel a little guilty about her.
Why?
It wasn't very nice to leave her stranded at that station. Can't understand why we did it now.
But you felt the same way about her as I did.
Yes, how did you feel, darling?
Oh, I told you. It was like riding with a mad woman. The way she talked about death. Well, you were afraid of her yourself, Martin.
Yes, I suppose I was. But why? That's what I can't understand, now that it's over.
Oh, well, maybe we were a little silly about it.
Maybe.
But she's gone, so we may as well forget about her.
Did you say she was gone? Look up ahead at the bend of the road.
Oh, she's standing there, Martin. Martin, don't stop. For heaven's sake, don't stop.
Did you see her face in the headlights?
Yes.
She was smiling again.
Mrs. Crocker is a very mysterious lady, isn't she? Let us see if time will reveal any more about her.
Darling.
Yes, darling?
We're home.
Oh, thank heaven.
The lights are still on in the house. Be careful, darling. Here, I'll take my arm. There we are.
Wait, Martin.
What's the matter?
On the corner.
The corner's empty?
I almost thought I saw her again.
Oh, darling, don't be silly. We made that last 50 miles in 1 hour flat. Nobody passed us on the road.
Yes, but how did she get ahead of us the first
She probably got a lift, darling. Anyway, forget about her. We've got something more important on our mind.
Yes, darling. Here, I've got the key.
Thanks. He's probably upstairs.
There you are.
Oh, Dr. Carter.
I'm glad to see you both.
How is he, Doctor?
Very weak.
Oh, Billy, I'm going up to see him.
You can't go up now, Mrs. Gaines.
I can't?
Your son is still in the coma. The nurse is with him.
How does it look, Doctor?
The next few hours, or even minutes, may tell the story. We've taken x-rays and done everything we can.
Would you stay a little longer?
Of course. May I call my office?
Yes, certainly.
The phone's inside.
Oh, excuse me.
Certainly. Sit down, darling. Now try to relax.
What did he mean when he said the next few hours or minutes may tell us the story?
Don't you know?
Oh, Martin.
Oh, honey, he's still got a fighting chance.
Martin.
I'll go.
Don't go, Martin. Don't answer the door.
Flo.
It's that woman. It's that horrible woman. I know it is. Don't let her into the house. Martin.
Darling, I've got to answer it. The doctor may have ordered some drugs.
Don't go near that door, Martin.
Take it easy, honey. There's nothing to get excited about. We're home. This is our house. We're not on a lonely road in the mountainside anymore.
Martin, I beg
I'll be
you.
right back, darling.
Good morning.
What are you doing here, Mrs. Crocker?
May I come in?
I don't know how you found us, Mrs. Crocker, but you'll have to leave.
Is the boy upstairs?
Stay where you are, do you hear?
Don't move, Mrs. Crocker. Good morning, Mrs.
Flo,
Gale.
what are you doing with that gun?
She's not going up to Billy's room. Perhaps I can do something for him,
I
Mrs.
said
Gale.
you're not going up to Billy's room.
Oh, for heaven's sake, darling.
Now I know who she is, Martin. And I should have known from the beginning. You're being very foolish, Mrs. Gale. Now I know why she's been following us. And I know what she wants.
Flo, give me that gun.
Keep away from me, Martin. Would you really kill me, Mrs. Gale? With pleasure. To save my son? I don't believe
Flo, don't be silly.
Get out of my way, Martin. Get out of my way. Well, why don't you shoot? This will be the last we'll see of you, Mrs. Crocker. I'll make sure of that now. Oh, the gun. It won't. It seems to be useless. However, I'm a reasonable woman. I've decided to leave after all.
Mr. Gaines.
Yes?
May I see you for a moment?
Go ahead, Martin. I won't move from this spot until she
I'll be
leaves.
right back.
It isn't often that I change my mind when I decide to make a call, Mrs. Gale. You said you were leaving. Why don't you go? You might remember me to your side. Get out. I never want to see you again as long as I live. I assure you, Mrs. Gaines, you won't.
Flo! Flo, he's come out of it.
What?
Billy, he's come out of his coma. The doctor says he's going to be all right.
Oh,
Oh,
Martin.
darling. You'll be able to see him in just a few minutes. That's my girl. Come on, pull yourself together.
I'll try.
That's the girl. Oh, did she go?
Yes.
Hey, let's have it. You're still holding my gun.
Take it away, Martin, please.
Oh, thank goodness it was empty. Darling, you must have been out of your mind.
For a minute, I didn't care. I'd have killed her gladly if it meant saving Billy.
But, honey, she wasn't responsible for his injury. Darling, for all we know, she might have just come here to help.
Martin, am I going crazy? Oh, she isn't here anymore. I feel as if I just woke up from a horrible dream.
Oh. I want you to look at this gun.
Martin.
6 bullets. It wasn't empty after all.
Yes, time moves slowly, and most of us never seem to have enough of it to go around. There's always something else to accomplish, something new to do, and we scurry from one place to another to get it done. Minutes and hours form the very core of our lives, and we hoard them and save them as best we can. It's a valuable commodity to all of us. And the only one I've ever met who had a little to spare was Mrs. Crocker.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time. This program was written by Lawrence Klee and starred Hart Maguire as the Clock. As Martin and Flo, you heard John Million and Joan Lord. As Mrs. Crocker, Nita Carr Glynn, with Gordon Glenwright as the Doctor. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.